Are you in the event industry and are currently using HoneyBook? If you're currently finding yourself a little bit overwhelmed by some of the new updates, this video is for you. Today, I'll be sharing with you some real life solutions to help you with excelling with some of the new updates that are happening inside of HoneyBook so that you can start using it today. For those of you new to my channel, hi, my name is Jessie. I am a certified HoneyBook Pro and a corporate event planner. Here on Green Light Ambition, we talk about all of the unsexy things about running a business in the event industry. So today we're going to be digging into how you can use the CRM so that you're able to scale your business. And if you've never heard of HoneyBook or a CRM, it is a client relationship management platform that allows for you to do all of the communication, proposals, invoices that you need to do inside of one place. So let's head over to the screen so that you can see inside of my Honey. First up, let's talk about automations. Depending on your specific account, individuals that have a newer platform of HoneyBook or a newer account with HoneyBook, they have automations 2.0. And for those of you that are long-termers like myself, you may still have the version of the automations here. There will be a big announcement as people start to roll over to the automations 2.0. Once that is official, I will share that with you. But today I want to dig into why automations and the updates on automations can truly help you with shifting your business. The first thing that you may or may not be aware of is that HoneyBook has automations or workflows to help create a seamless client experience for your customers. This is important because I feel as if a lot of us are losing clients, not because of it's so congested and there's a lot of competition out there. As someone who's often always looking and sourcing for people, that is not the case. Yes, there's a lot of people that have businesses, but a lot of people do not follow up with individuals. I know still to this day, I will have to reach out to anywhere between 5 to 10 individuals to finally get a response. And even with those responses, some of them are a little sketchy. So if you think that I don't need to have any automations or I just only going to use a HoneyBook to send out invoices, you're not using HoneyBook to its fullest potential. So within the automations, you can create a workflow that allows for you to have a trigger happen based on what your client experience is going to be. As you can see here, I do have the initial automation set up online, and you can have an automation trigger based off of a lead form that is specific to a need. So you may have an inquiry, or for myself, I even have a lead form for vendors that are looking to partner with me. So it makes it easy when someone wants to send me a DM and say, hey, I really want to work with you. They don't even have to do that. I have a link tree and it says, are you interested in partnering with us? They can click on it and then send us information about their services. That same lead form is also on our website. One of the things I find when it comes to HoneyBook, people are only thinking about their client interaction and not also how do we interact with vendors or different people that are stakeholders outside of our company. So you can have automations that are going to work for you. So one of the things that you want to remember when it comes to your flow, how are people going to get into this flow? And most importantly, where are we taking them? So the first thing that you want to take time to do is actually pull out a piece of paper and just write out your processes so that you can have clarity on what you want to have happen. As you can see here, I have different workflows based off of why a client has hired us for event coordination. So that's important because I have certain communications that are going to a client that's coming to us for catering compared to those that are coming to us for team building, or they're coming to us for other types of services. One of the things that you do want to do is just really think about your business in this aspect and how you can create that specific workflow. So inside of HoneyBook and their automations, the awesome thing that they do now have inside of it is that you can, I'll just do a dummy one. I'm just going to do plus. You have the ability to move projects in your pipeline based off of what is occurring. So you can see here that when I have marked off that my vendors are now booked, the system moves this specific project into my column and my pipeline for a craft event. This is important because within my company, we do a good amount of volume. And if I have to go into each and every project to figure out what type of service a client has booked us, that is so like 2017. I just don't choose certain things within my business because time is valuable. And I want it to be that my clients are expecting clear communication as well as my vendors and partners are getting clear communication. So one of the really cool features is that now you can have items move to specific stages. Also, inside of your timeline, you do have the ability, I'm just going to do send email and I'm just going to select any email, is that you now have the ability to select when, which is that trigger in which you're wanting to have now go. So what I mean is like if you have a, let's say you're a wedding planner and after someone pays, now you're having a planning session, or you are, after you have that planning session and you've come up with the concept, but now you need to do a site visit. You can have an email that's written to that customer that says, it was great speaking to you. And I call those like recap emails. And that's important because you want to protect yourself and your business. So what I end up doing is I always tell anyone I'm working with, hey, create a recap email that is leading your customer to the next thing. So if you had this planning session with this customer, you can have a recap email already in your automation that is telling your client, it was great talking to you. We spoke about X, Y, and Z. Your next step is for us to schedule a time to go and do a site visit. And you can click here to schedule a time for us to do a site visit. And you can use HoneyBook calendar schedulers that are designated for site visit. And you can have that the reason for it is on site location. Again, if I need to do a video showing that, please just let me know and comment below. But what I would then do is like after the person selects site visit, I could have that email goes to them, and then I can have that session is scheduled, and then I would have a site visit one. So I'm just going to uncheck it. I'm just going to say 30-minute consultation. I can have session site visit, and I can move it to my site visit part of my timeline. The reason why the way you can think about your project timeline is moving things along in the stages. And the move pipeline allows for you to have your project move along the way and help you with being able to have more clarity on what's going on. This is such a time saver for those of us that are definitely in the planner and coordinator side of events, because you really want it to be that you're not taking all this time going through each project to figure out what needs to still happen. So when you're thinking about your automation, take out a piece of paper, do some process mapping. No task is too small or too big. And honestly, when they're too big, that just causes confusion. And then what happens is that when we hire someone to work with us, because ultimately we want to have a team member, if we're not doing that, what happens is that when we hire someone, they're not able to really help us because we don't have things written out in a way that someone that is not us will know what to do next. So write out your automations, use the new features that are based off of triggers on session types to move items along your pipeline so that you're able to have success. And then they did also add the option that you can have a trigger based off of smart files that have been completed. So if you do smart file completed, you can specify your trigger, which smart file is completed that moves this on to the next thing. So you can have it that you're not having to do a lot of manual touching on your processes in HoneyBook. If you really take the time to think about it, and if you are not clear about how to go about doing that, definitely reach out to me and we can do a HoneyBook audit, and I'll make sure to have the link below so that you can reach out to me. The next update is Smart Fields. And Smart Fields are a feature inside of HoneyBook that takes details inside of a project and is able to use it in either emails or different smart files to be able to give like this seamless appearance of a personalized message to a customer without having to be personalized. One of the things that I get at times, I have people say that they're confused about what's a smart file compared to smart fields. A smart file is a customizable document inside of HoneyBook that you can design to fit a specific need inside of your client experience. Smart fields are going to be fields that are capturing client information so that you're able to use it in smart files. So let's look at what that looks like. The first example I'm going to show as how you can use smart fields is going to be in emails. So this is really important specifically for us in the event industry where typos and clerical errors can potentially occur. I try to use smart fields in a way so that I don't have to rely on only myself getting it right because mistakes will happen. Sometimes you may find yourself copying and pasting something that is not accurate. So as you can see here, and I have that I'm pulling in project names. So for me, when I am naming my projects, I'm making sure that it's client facing and clear so it doesn't feel weird in that email. The project date is the event date. The project location is the address on which we're hosting it. And as you can see, this is a booking sheet that I sent to my vendors. So as I mentioned previously, is that I don't only use HoneyBook for client facing. I also use this for vendor facing, and I have automations for my vendors. So I like to have templates created to make things easy and seamless for me, my team members, as well as my clients. Okay, so now I have you inside of a smart file. This is my brochure that goes to my clients where I'm giving them a proposal. The way that you can pull in smart fields inside of your smart files is that you can do the bracket to be able to insert it. And then you can see all you do is the bracket. And now it gives you the options of the things in which you can select. So if I want to now do project name, I can pull that in. And then I write both my emails and my smart files in a way that it doesn't feel weird, but it's also feeling personalized and custom to that specific client. As you see that you have all of these different fields that you can use based on the specific parts of this. So like you can also have inside of your documents your custom smart fields as well that will pull in. And then you have the client name, second client name, your company's email address, the date, and all those different things, the amounts. You can have those different options to be able to help, again, with giving this personalized approach. So I do challenge you to think to yourself, if I'm writing emails repetitively, the same kind of emails, how do I intentionally create a template that allows for me to use the data that HoneyBook is collecting inside of a project so that it can put it into specific emails based on my client experience that I'm creating so that you can make sure that you are not making mistakes inside of your business flow that can potentially cost you money and most importantly, cost you time because we're not doing that in 2025. The third tool that I recommend you looking into is actually inputting your packages inside of HoneyBook. They have some really cool new tweaks to it, depending on the type of business you have. Some of us have the feature that shows packages, while some of us, depending on the type of business we have, it says services. I recently had a conversation with someone in the event vein. She would love to be able to run a report to let them know how many people have hired them for specific services. One of the things that we realized, though, is that this person did not have packages created inside of the template section of HoneyBook. So I was like, if you don't capture information there, it's going to be hard for you to also get that data. And I did bring up that this can be something really cool for the future. So that is something that may be in the pipeline in upcoming months or maybe next year. But I know that we want to be able to have it easy for us to sell our products have people assist us, and most importantly, reduce errors. So I want to share with you how packages will help you with being able to have success inside of using HoneyBook. For those of you to find your packages, mine is under templates and packages. Granted, those of you that have another type of business designation, you may have services. And I do like the services feature, but that's just not what's inside of my HoneyBook, which is fine. So I just use packages. And inside of packages, one of the things I always recommend to people is to always keep your packages up to date, because what I find 85-95% of the time when I'm going into someone's account as a HoneyBook Pro is that a lot of times they never have their packages set up. So what happens is that when they're pulling it into a proposal or an invoice, what happens is now they have 25 different variations of the same service because they've kept changing their price and updating the price or removing certain things. So what happens is now we keep pulling in variable packages, not knowing which one is the correct one. So the way that you avoid doing that is going into your template section and creating that package according to what your service is. This is super easy. I'm just going to do a dummy one. One of the things to remember is having line items. So when you're creating your packages, think of things in a complete package or individual items, depending on how you price things. So like I've had it where someone might say they have a beginner or basic event management. What they'll then do is you can say one, but here's something that's really cool too, is that you can designate what type of unit you want to have for that specific item. Those of you that have the newer version, it actually allows for you to override the unit of measure, which I think is really cool too. So if you wanted to have day of, you have the ability to change the unit of measure, and then you will put in the price. And this is something that's super important for you, that depending on the state that you're in, the service that you provide, is making sure that you check if something is taxable or not. I'm in the state of Texas. One of the things that I realized is that, or what people brought to my attention, is that a photographer, I believe that their services are not taxable. However, when they do prints and other types of services, and from those services are now taxable. So if someone was doing photography, they may have basic wedding photos, but then they may have that we have photo prints. Then you would put the designation of what that is. And then I would then check that this is taxable. So what will happen is that if you pull in this package into your invoice or your proposal, it will then show what the sales tax would be based on what you say your designation is inside of your account. But that is going to be super helpful for those of you that are wasting time on creating multiple packages that have totally different pricing all over. I've spoken to clients in the past that have found that they built something incorrectly because they did not have their packages in the system correctly. So I don't want that for you. If you're finding yourself overwhelmed by how to set up your HoneyBook, and you just really need an extra set of eyes to look at your current workflow and processes, this is a perfect opportunity for you to take advantage of my HoneyBook audit services, because I love helping other event industry business owners with being able to set up their accounts so that they are able to feel a breath of fresh air and not stress and confusion and chaos. And if you are interested, I'll make sure to have in the description a link so you can take advantage of my audit. And I'll look forward to seeing you. Talk to you later. Peace.